Oh, hey, Rodney. What's happening, old buddy? Yeah, I know. Oh, son, what's wrong? Well, yeah, I know. It's troubling times at best, and we're all getting a little tired of it. I get that, but, you know, these things shall pass. Oh, you're upset because your favorite Mexican food restaurant's closed. I see. Well, I tell you, I've got some leftover steak and chicken in the fridge. How about I whip up some steak and chicken fajita nachos? Would that satisfy you? I thought it might. Y'all stick around. I'm going to show you how. For this recipe, we're going to need some meat, the meat of your choice. I'm using steak and chicken. You're going to need a fajita spice mix, some zucchini, some summer squash, some peppers and onions, some mushrooms, and a cordless drill. All right, well, Rodney's up to his normal. He's all depressed because his favorite Mexican food restaurant is closed for the whole COVID thing. Well, that's fine. I've got some leftovers. I've got some leftover chicken. I got some leftover steak, and we're going to make this chicken steak fajita nachos, which I guarantee you're going to enjoy. Mostly because it is quick and easy. Your homework is basically just getting the vegetables prepped, put them in a container like such, stick them in the fridge till you're ready to go camping. It's dead simple. So we're going to start with the veg. I have zucchini, summer squash, some peppers, some onions, some mushrooms. But listen, you guys go crazy. Do whatever it is you want to put in it. I've put a can of black beans in it. I've put a can of corn in it. We're not eating that stuff anymore, but I've done that before, and it's fantastic. And then, of course, you're going to want to top it with a little bit of salsa or maybe some panko or, some cheese. You put some sour cream, little guac on the side if that's what you like. I don't, but if you like it, you go right ahead. So we're going to start by prepping up these vegetables. I reckon we'll start with the mushrooms. Make sure you clean all this stuff very well. Use some kind of agent on them. There's some all-natural stuff you can buy at the grocery store. Make it into nice slices about yay big. Do the onions next. These don't have to be too small. In fact, you can have them good size, good bite size. Okay, we'll cut these about, that ought to do it right about there. Reckon we'll do the summer squash next. You know, and I'm doing chicken and beef because that's what I happen to have left over. But you can add anything you want to. If you want to do shrimp and pulled pork, or you want to do a total mixed grill where you do everything in it, that's fine. I mean, there's no hard and fast rules in this. So let's get this squash, about that size right there. Now we're going to do the same thing with the zucchini. Them boys down at the Waffle House get upset with me because I insist on spelling it properly, not Zookni. And this is about what we want our zucchini to look like. Now, pieces that big. Now we'll get these peppers finished, and we'll be ready to throw this in the fridge, and we'll be done. We'll just cut this up into rings or what have you. Doesn't matter. Go wild, go crazy. What? Oh. And here's what we wound up with. Take a look at that. Now we're just going to put a lid on it. We're going to stick it in the fridge till it's time to go camping. Next time I see you, we'll be at Camp Back Porch on the Blackstone. All right, we're going to start by getting our griddle nice and warm, hot, and put down a good bit of olive oil. Now once this gets good and hot, we're going to add our veg. Now this we don't want to cook too overcooked, unless that's how you like your vegetables. I don't particularly, but want it to be just a little bit al dente, a little to the tooth. Let's add a little Bad Byron's butt rub at this point. Before we go any further, I'd like to remind you guys, if you don't mind, press that subscribe button, click that bell icon so you'll get notifications when I put out new videos. Give me a big old thumbs up and maybe even give me a comment or two, share me to your social media. I sure would appreciate it. And here's what we should be looking at about midway through. Just starting to wilt a little bit, just starting to get a little brown to it. If I had to guess, I'd say we're about 3/4 of the way there. Let's pull out a little piece of something and give it a taste test. Here's a little piece of squash. Okay. If you can still crunch on it, it's right where you want it to be. Now would probably be a good time to go ahead and add our spice package. And to that, we're going to add just a little bit of water. That way these vegetables can kind of steam on their own a little. And it's going to make a little bit of a gravy. You don't want it soft and wet, you just want it a little moist. Maybe just a little more water. That ought to do it. Our veg is where we want it. We'll add our meat. This is just some leftover chicken and steak I had in the fridge. Mrs. Eating Good in the Woods was kind enough to cut it up for me. Throw that on there. Seeing how it was left over, that means it's already been cooked. So we don't want to go heat it up too much. You don't want to overcook it. Just mix it in. Well, that's going to be about all we can do out here. We're going to tray this up, take it in the house. Let's give it a little taste here. I've put a little sour cream on it. I've got one piece here with some steak. I got one piece here with some chicken. Let's give it a little taste. That right there, that's hardly fit to eat, but I tell you what, I'm going to keep going until I find me a good spot. Folks, that's going to be it for Eating Good in the Woods this week. I'd like to remind you guys, although we're seeing an end to this horrible, horrible virus, it has affected people in many ways, the ways that some of us can't even begin to imagine. Make sure you reach out to your friends and your families and your neighbors. Tell them you love them. And I love you too. Go out there and be nice to each other. See you next week. Bye for now.